Bennett, and we are the Bennett family of St. Rose of Lima Parish, and I'm here to share my faith story. I've always had, I haven't always had a relationship with God, but I felt Jesus in my life very early when I was very young, but I had no faith formation in my family that I was being raised in. And so then, I grew up, went to college, met Lori while I was in college, my wife. She said, would you get married in the church? And I was like, I had never really thought it really even mattered. I wasn't even sure what that meant. But then I found out that RCIA had to occur, and to make this a full unity with God in marriage through the sacrament of marriage, I had to do RCIA, become Catholic. And it was great for me because I never had a church. I believe I had Christ in my heart, but I never had a church. So she said to me, well, I have a lot of family down in Portland. Maybe we should go down and visit them. And I hadn't really ever explored Portland before, so I came down and stayed with her grandparents, Pat and Mary Leyden. And Mary were both long-standing parishioners here at St. Rose. And Pat inspired me in countless ways, but mostly in his work with St. Vincent de Paul, because that was something that I was always curious about, the homeless and people who were in greater need than I ever was, and that there was a part of the world that was much more impoverished than I had ever been growing up. So I just felt a deeper calling. I started doing I would hear the readings, and I sort of did my own sort of lectio during the week after the Mass. I started at work, I started taking my lunch times and reading again the readings from Sunday, just to think about them and think about what Father had said. And then I went to a thing, a friend of mine in Seattle invited me to a thing called Cursillo. And I went to Cursillo up in Seattle for 3 days. It was a 3-day retreat. And coming out of Cursillo was the Rosary. And I started praying it by myself at home in the morning before I'd go to work. And I still do that to this day, but it's 20 plus years ago. I started realizing that no day is the same without the Rosary. Like, it's very different if I neglect to pray and talk with Mary in the mornings. I can tell you, the Exodus thing has been huge. The Exodus program here, I grow every year in that. That's been 5 years running now. We had several. I always look forward to Lent when we used to have small group Lent formation. I think fraternity and family inside the church, or community inside the church, is important because we never stop growing. And so just seeking all those opportunities that the church gives us to grow in faith is very important. And then listening, not just to our pastor, but to those people that are in our fraternities or in our sororities or in our community. And just connecting with people inside of the community is really helps us stay together. And you realize there's so many of us within our church. Even though we may not see them all the time, there's so many of us that are really, really strong in our faith. And we have to remember that.